Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What's up, friends? Welcome back to the TV Terminal. My name's Adam Vale, senior editor over at thecoalition.com.
My name is Lawrence, aka a punk with toys on all the social medias.
And this is it, people. We have made it. This is the season finale for Murderbot season 1. This was the longest episode so far of all of them, right? What, 39 minutes?
34 minutes.
34 minutes. Pretty long, and it was sad. I'm just gonna say,
I think the payoff was in episode 9. Like, that's where you get all the action. This is the setup for whether it's a series finale or just a season finale. And you mentioned at the end, if they don't come back for a second season, which I hope they do, because I really did enjoy it, they gave a good send-off as far as I'm concerned. But if they come back, you're like, yep, it was set up for another season.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But real quick, thanks again for the follows, the comments, the subs over on YouTube and the other platforms, but especially on YouTube. We're just trying to get everything organized. It's just a lot easier when you got the video and you get the comments all in one spot. Maybe it's just me being lazy, but I think it's great, and then it makes things a little smoother for the conversations to flow. But yeah, thanks again for all the support, because that's always helps. And we're still doing other shows. We got Dexter lined up and a few other ones, so plenty of other things happening on this channel. Plus, Revival is still running, even though this one is coming to an end. And this is our second show completion, right? Because we had Mobland, and now we have
second one on this channel.
Yeah, our second one on this one. Yeah, we did Reacher on the Coalition proper channel. But oh wow, man! So let's just get into it, people. If you're new to the channel, I'm like, oh well, because there's one thing that I've known covering TV for all these years is that there's 3 big points of when people tune in to look up for content and stories and stuff like that on these platforms. It's always at the beginning, right? How the show take off, the mid-season finale. Some shows have them, some don't. And then, of course, the finales. People that skipped over the entire season and just want to know, did they stick the landing? How did it go? Is it worth bringing up or talking about it, or even going back? I don't know these people that do this, but I've heard that there are some people that will look up or will follow, let's say something like this, right? Find people that are doing coverage of the finale, and based off of that, determine if they should go back and watch the entire season. You're spoiling it for yourself. Why do that? But I guess they feel that it justifies the time. So if, let's say, they read a review, it's like, oh wow, that was a great show, and the finale stuck. All right, I'll watch it now. Well, but now it's already planted in your head of the outcome and how it plays out. So
let's do this. If you are one of those people, and that's good for you, rather than spoil it, I'm gonna say that this was worth going back and watching. So if this is your first time and you're wondering if you should go watch it, I think you should. And it's super short. Like, you can watch it. It's 10 episodes. All the episodes but this one are under 30 minutes. So you can literally watch it in 5 hours.
Yeah. It's a quick watch.
Yeah, if it's a rainy day, you can just pop it on and you will be done. And when I say under 30 minutes, we're talking some episodes are 22 minutes. You skip the finale, or you skip the intro, the credits. Like, you're done in 4 hours, I bet.
Yeah. And then we get plenty of those people. There's different types of people that watch shows. Some like us, we like the weekly. There's those that just wait to binge.
Yeah.
And once they find out, 10 is out, that's it. 10 episode season. All right, let's go. That's it. I'll watch it now. But anyway, that was it. Just a quick disclaimer for all of those new people that are just jumping in. And let's get started, man. This was interesting. So he wakes up, our boy SecUnit wakes up on a table. We got 2 doctors standing over him. So instantly we now see that the beacon worked, because that was the end result. That was the whole.
I initially thought that maybe he was having a flashback of when he had his memory first wiped. That's what I originally thought.
It could have been that,
because they completely jumped over how they got back and everything. But I guess that really doesn't matter. Like I guess there was no reason for us to watch them on the planet and wait for them to get picked up. It's just boom, it worked. They made it back, and now he's having his memory wiped because we've all we've all care about this character, but he's just a piece of machinery. That's how they look at him.
Yeah, yeah. They don't see him as anything special.
Yeah, that's how the corporation looks at him.
You know what it reminds me of? Westworld. Did you ever watch Westworld?
I did. I watched like the first 2, maybe 3
That's
seasons.
fine. That's plenty right there because you remember when they would show back at the factory where they were working on
Yep,
them, the repair some. It was the same thing. They just talked
very
down.
much
It was
so.
like nothing. Yeah, they were like, this is just these are just robots, part of the park. It's not a big deal,
Yes, because I feel like I'm the only one that saw Terminator and know how this all ends.
right? Exactly.
When it happens, I'm gonna be like, I kept telling you guys. There's no way I'm the only one. All right, we saw
Yes, and
Terminator
then
and
I'm like,
Terminator 2.
yes, we know, Lawrence. That's why we live in a bunker. We are very aware. Man, you always have to point out that you were right. You're that guy. We're gonna throw you out there next. You do the salvaging next time. You get the supplies. So, oh boy, but yeah, this is you got these two guys and the same thing. They're like, this it's just another SecUnit. What happened? Is it true that he killed all his clients? Now, when he said that, when one of the I don't want to call them doctors, but one of the technicians said that,
That's a better term.
yeah, I was like, well, did something happen? Like sort of to your point of like, if this is a flashback, but maybe it's not that far back of a flashback. But what if this is wow? He wakes up from the last scene that we saw that he was down and just something broke because of the impact, and he went rogue again and just mowed down the whole
And
crew.
that was my other thinking, that maybe what we just watched was a flashback from the beginning. That yeah, maybe those were the people that he killed. But we found out it's not.
Yeah, no, thankfully, no. He
Pretty
was like,
quickly.
nope. And but they did determine and they figured out that his governor module is damaged. Right? They was like, oh, it's faulty. It's like, what? And he lasted this long? Oh, this can't be. No, we all right, put another module. I'm gonna put this in. And sure enough,
And the
they
one guy's
do.
like freaked out about it. The one guy's
Yeah,
like
oh yeah.
freaked out about it.
Well, then there you go. That's your Terminator right there. That's why,
Mm, yes.
because as soon as that's off, then he's rogue. He could do whatever he wants. He's free thinking now. And or more like a what was it? I think it was an iRobot that did that, where
Yeah.
the main computer was like,
Sunny.
you know what? Yeah, it's Sunny. It was like, well, yeah, Sunny worked for the main one, but the brain of the operation was reactivating all of them because said, hey, you
Yeah.
hired us to protect you, and we're going to protect you against yourselves because you guys are horrible. You human race, you can't do anything right, and so we're taking over. We
It-
got this.
This is the same thing that the Sentinels do in the X-Men.
In all of them,
Days of
it's
Future Past, the same thing. They determined that humans aren't any better for the most part. Like,
mhm. Do you remember a few years back there was it was in the news about they had two robots uh, talking or just communicating with each other, and then a few hours later they came back, or maybe it was a day later, but some time passed and went back and realized that they created their own language because the
I
language that they
remember
were
that.
using wasn't working, and they were like they just evolved it, and it's like this is what would happen. They start from that. They're like, hey, we could create our own language, and we can create a whole other system of how this works. That brings us all to the Matrix. I Robot. We mentioned Terminator. All of it. It's all ends. In the same direction. Shout out to Isaac Asimov.
I got about 50 years left on this earth, so
Yeah, there we
I
go.
don't want to
Also,
leave it to my kids, but
right? That's it. It's like, oh man. All right, but where were we? Oh yeah, so he puts in the module, and then we could see on the screen, you see some numbers, and he's reactivated. At least in that point. Oh man! But then it jumps over to Mensa and the
but
crew.
I'll say, well, there was a couple things. There was one thing that he really did that I thought, like, he was looking like he was about to like react to them and how they were acting, and he never did. Like, he kind of moved a couple times, and I thought he was gonna be
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah, it was like some weird flashback. He wasn't sure what was going on
yeah,
but that was right before. Yeah, that was right before they inserted the new governor module.
yeah. There's a lot of jumping back and forth
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
this
Which
episode.
makes
A
me
lot.
wonder, did they wipe his there's a government module? Because if it's defective, that's not his storage bank. We know how storage works, so
Yeah.
that it should still be there. So yes, he has a module, but what about all the data collected? Which we find out later with Gareth and what happened with that. But still, it was just interesting to make it made it seem, at least in my mind, I saw it as, oh, that's still in him. That's dormant. He just has his main program system running. But maybe
They
if they
put a
remove
different.
that,
They put a different one in though.
I just wasn't well, all you know what? Forget it. They didn't show it. The guy said it. The second guy had said, "Oh, well, we already wiped him." Remember, he
Yeah.
said he's completely wiped. So yeah, we'll put in the new module. So
But but,
he's
but the new module isn't to protect. It
no,
was
no.
supposed to go out there and
Oh
f,
man.
F shit up. It's
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
best way to put it.
That's pretty much, oh boy. That yeah, I have questions when we get to that. But so
Yes.
we see that now with the crew, with Mensa and what's this Madam President talk? People in the chat, please let us know. I don't recall that. We saw before she was a planetary admin. That was her title, but now here she's telling the doctor to refer to her, or someone from the corporation to refer to her as Madam President.
Uh,
That
I don't. I remember I said the same thing. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and maybe we need to read more into.
I'm getting a Kindle, Paperwhite. I'll tell you that much,
Hey,
people.
again, if you guys
Definitely.
now we said we don't want to spoil it with the books, but if you guys are reading this and you've read it, let us know what the whole Madam President is, because obviously she has other titles. But then
Yeah,
again, she also has like 8 husbands and 84 kids. So
yeah. She's got a lot going on in her life, so it makes you
do these
wonder. It's like,
people know about? I mean, do the extra husbands and kids know about each other? Do they know about their different
oh yeah.
careers?
Now I think we do think I think we know because that's how that community lives. Remember, that was their whole thing. It's like, oh, we don't abide by just other standards. It's the whole contract system with
And
Rathi and Penley and Arata.
and we do find out later on that none of them are sex bots that she's married to.
Yeah, no sex bots. Yeah, which is funny. That was a funny scene. But yeah, so their Mensa's, she wants to know where's her sec unit, and they're like, what, the equipment? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Why would you want that? Like, no, don't worry about that. That's nothing. It's like, no. We want, and it was interesting to just to see the reactions of the other side, the corporation, because yeah, to them this is just equipment. There's no different than like, hey, where's my chair? My chair. Someone move my. Don't worry, we'll just get you another office chair. Not a big deal. They're all the same.
It was interesting to watch the chain of command, because there's 4 people there, and they're talking to 4 people from the what the hell is it called again?
Corporation. There
The
was a corporation.
corporation,
Yep.
where the whole crew here, they're kind of working as like a cohesive. I mean, Mensa's in charge, but you have Pin Lee that is she's by far the smartest of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And she
She's
knows
the
exactly
lawyer.
what to do.
She's the
Yeah.
lawyer.
Okay, maybe she's not the smartest then. Just kidding. My daughter wants to be a lawyer.
But she knows the
The
legal
ins and outs, yeah.
legality of everything here. Yeah.
And then we finally get down to the one person that's in charge, and they're like, "Okay, you're the one we need to speak to." And they just keep going back and forth, and they kind of bring up the whole like, "Well, you know what? We want the sec unit back, and we want half your company, or else we're going to tell everyone." And they go into this whole NDA, and they're correct. Like after a while, that whole NDA is not going to mean much if they have rogue people down there murdering and killing people for this alien artifacts.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I don't recall if it came later or because they did jump back and forth 2 or 3 times to this meeting, but it all links up where it looks like someone from the corporation thinks the reason why they want the sec unit is because it saw something, and recorded something
Yeah.
that may incriminate them and say, hey, if you're worried about anything, don't we wiped it. It's okay.
Yep.
You don't. And then that's when Mens was, what do you mean you wiped it? No, you. It's just still for the corporation, they just don't get it. And
But at
I
the same
stand,
time, they can't tell, and this is how I kind of gathered. They can't say that this the
That
sec
it
unit
helped
has
them and
become,
saved, part of the crew.
it's become self-aware. It can think for itself because that creates a whole nother set of problems, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because we don't know that, and that's even what we saw with the technician and dealing with when they found out that the governor module was damaged. They thought the worst. I was like,
The
"Oh, this
one
is
guy did.
yeah." The one guy did.
One
He
guy
thought
totally did.
he was like, "Yeah, this is horrible. This is," but which is possible. But as we saw with our sec unit, no, he turned more human.
Way more human.
Yeah, way more human. More human than human, right? Shout out to Rob Zombie. There we go.
And then, when we did go back, the one technician who kind of spits in his face, he says he'll do anything. He'll
I
do
was
anything.
waiting at that point for the hand to just
That's
come up,
what I,
like, right, and
that's
grab him by the
exactly,
throat.
because he kind of moves at that point, and that's what I was kind of like. I feel like he's gonna do something, but he says no, he'll do anything. He tells him to get up, and he tells him to pat his head and rub his belly. Then the one guy tells him to cry like a baby, which that was another point. He looks at him and he doesn't do it, but then he starts doing it.
Yeah, there was a pause.
I thought the same thing. And then the boss comes in.
It's like, what?
When the boss comes in, it's like, what are you doing? Like,
And we saw that in the first episode, right, with the sec unit and the miners, and they were like, "Take your hand out," and they light it on fire, and the whole thing. It's like there's no respect for any of these
yeah.
sec units. It's
No,
just
yeah,
like,
that's exactly. They're just robots. They're just absolute robots until they become self-aware.
right, and then they go after you and they kill your family.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I want retribution. Who knows where he's going? But yeah, there was a few interesting scenes. So while that's happening, Mensa's still freaking out with this whole thing, and she's like, she goes up to Garethan, and she says, "Hey, there's got to be something we can do. You know this area, you know these people, you know how this works. There has to be something." And he's trying to figure it out, and he does. And I'm sure it comes. There was a few back and forth, but it's just good to bring up just his little arc here, because we see that he goes and pays a visit to a friend of his. Turns out that this was the dealer that was
The
giving
dealer.
him of the drugs or making them. Because what was the full outcome? They sort of explain it, but not so much. Was it to make him smarter?
No, if I remember correctly, they basically they give them the augmentations, but during that they also give a drug that's supposed to help, but basically just controls them. So they're able to control them by having them hooked on this because they can only get it through
So
that
that's
one,
good.
Because
I was trying to figure out if it was like uppers or something, try to keep him alert so that way he can
I don't think so.
consume the content or the new
I think it
augments.
was just to control them, where you have to keep coming back for it. I could be wrong, but I mean, seems like it's been a while since we watched that episode.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just the way he said it when the guy says, like, "Oh, I thought you could handle it. I didn't think it was going to be a big issue for you." And I was like, "Oh, that's all right." So it's something that they do. But
Because
anyway,
like they got overly hooked on it. I guess it would be like anyone that gets hooked on drugs, and it's like, when it's recreation, it's one thing, but then when it becomes an addiction, it's completely different. And I think that's where they were trying to go with it. Like, hey, we're going to give you this. It helps with everything that you're dealing with. But once you got hooked on it, then you were kind of screwed on it. And you can only get it through them. So, they also created the supply of it.
But the main reason why he's paying him a visit is not for drugs or anything. It's that he realized that guy has also changed his life and now works for the corporation and has a level 3 clearance.
Yeah, he works in IT.
He works in IT. So this is it. And he looks like he has a family, right? We see a little girl come out. I was thinking they were doing karaoke or something like that. Because like, hey, your turn or something.
Yeah.
And so he just
leaves. He just leaves. Like, tell Papa that I'll be back, and then just leave. But they are in some sort of contained area, just like you would see in what was the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where they're on Mars?
Oh, Total Recall.
You're in this contained unit, or I feel like you're on like in Disney World, something like that. So yeah, he just leaves and takes him to his server.
Let's go. Now, unless I missed it, I don't recall Garethan telling him why he needed him for the level 3 access, right? He didn't say.
No, he didn't. He basically just said, like,
So it's basically
you owe me.
whatever he wants. Whatever you want to do, let's go. I'm all yours. Let's go hang out.
Yeah,
So
basically, you owe me.
yep.
But in between that, we
Mhm.
do see the sec units coming down to interfere or to mess with the protesters or to stop the protesting. And Raffi is down there and sees the sec unit and he tries to intervene with it, but it doesn't know who he is.
Well, here's a question. And then I got another question here with all this because from what I remember, the way they explained it before, we never saw their faces. No one ever saw their faces. Because remember, even the crew, when they were like, oh,
Yep.
wow, when he took the helmet off, oh, they have a face. So
Yeah.
it was kind of odd to see him walk down the steps. You see, all the other sec units have their helmets on.
He has helmet
And
on,
he,
but he has a different helmet because an older one.
oh, I thought it,
That's
because
how
I
they
could have
knew.
swore I took a quick glance. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he's showing his face.
No,
Okay,
no,
so he did. So it was just the outfit. Okay.
no.
That's cool.
He had his mask on, but his mask is completely different. His suit is completely different. Now I don't know why they couldn't give him a different suit, considering
Yeah,
it's
he
not
stood
part
out
of
from
him.
everyone else. That was it. That was
Yeah,
it.
but maybe
Yeah.
they do that so they know, which is the older units. Who know?
You know what? That's it. It's probably a model system.
Or
It's like,
maybe their
hey, our
stuff
old models had a
integrates.
white and the new ones are black.
Yeah,
And
maybe their stuff integrates specifically into those suits, and they don't want to change them. We all get stuff. There's a lot of
yeah,
stupid stuff like that.
there's a bunch of things. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. He walks up to him and he was like, hey, don't you remember me about the whole thing? And he's like, he doesn't remember him. And then the guard comes up and is like, hey, get away, and threatens him. And he's like, deal with this. And he puts up his arm like he's just going to use a blaster on him.
Yeah, and he says, "No, you need to wait. You can do that
Yeah, you do that
outside."
later. Do we really understand what's going on with these protesters? Because it was no work, no food, something like that.
I feel like some of them are just damn lazy and they don't want to work. All right.
Right? I'm just trying to, because I don't know if we heard anything about that prior to this.
Well, their whole thing is no work, no food, and I feel like I don't know. If you remember, everyone's like an indentured servant.
Yeah.
Like you work for so long. So, and it seems like a lot of these people, if we go back to one of the older episodes, they talk about like you're gonna die here. Like that's how long you're gonna be here. Like you're never gonna get out. You have 22 years or something. It was something crazy
There was two
amount.
of them talking about the time. They didn't say how
Yeah,
they ended up there, but yeah, one person had a few years, the other one had
but they're
a
not
lot
slaves.
more.
They're
No.
not slaves. So, they're clearly like, at least what I gathered is that they're protesting how they get paid, how much time, or maybe they're not getting paid. Obviously, I guess it's kind of like credits when it goes back to Star Trek, right? Like there is no such thing as
No. It's a barter
money.
system, the whole
Yeah,
thing. It's like, yeah, you work here, we give you food, room and
but they don't
board.
really explain it. I'm with you there. Like your episodes are 22 minutes. You could have explained what the hell is going on.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe they had some scenes and they were like, we'll cut this out. We don't need
Yeah.
this. And then they watch afterwards, like, well, that scene would have explained the uprise.
Yeah, I think they're more. I get if you're just a casual fan watching and not breaking it down, you're more interested in seeing that how the sec unit acts during this, right? You're
Yeah.
not really concerned
Yeah.
with why are they protesting? Where we're like, what the hell is this protest about?
But you're right. You're right. I think that what we're all expecting, well, I assume we were all expecting, actually happened because I was expecting that as soon as he engages with the protesters, something was going to trigger, and he
He
was
does
going to
do
see.
some damage though, and we see the sec units. I don't think they kill anybody, but they do break some limbs.
Oh yeah. They use
Crush some
just
hands.
melee. There's just no weapons, but just attacking, like hitting them and stuff like that.
Which
And
I'm still a little confused on why someone attacks a robot, but that's
yeah, that doesn't seem like a smart thing to do. But hey, they're angry about something. Something serious must have happened.
yeah.
And yeah, so while he's dealing with the protesters, then he starts getting the early flashbacks that we had seen with him in the mining community, shooting, blasting, all this stuff. And he starts sort of like going a little not crazy or anything, but he's just confused, and then he drops down, right? To like one knee, or he
He
stops
stops,
moving,
and
and
he gets
then
his
they kick him. Yeah, they
someone
hit him
bashes
behind
his
the leg.
knee, and
Yep.
the next thing we see is, like, they all start mobbing him only. Now, I don't know what the other
Yeah, what the other
SecUnits are
one's
doing.
doing. I guess they don't care. This every sec unit for themselves,
Now,
right?
this
So
did bother me because they don't explain how he got out of this. Like, did the other SecUnits come in? Did they just why wasn't he destroyed more? He's flesh. Like,
yeah,
as much damage as they're doing, and we've all seen what happens when there's a mob, like a mob attacks one person, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
history has shown what. So he would have been way more damaged than what he
Well,
was.
he had his armor on. I don't know how thick that armor is. But we see, in fact,
Yeah,
they
I
sort of
guess.
pull the curtain behind, because I think it's shortly after that scene we see that he's in the little chamber thing to be melted down. I don't see any
Yeah,
damage on his body, right? We didn't see him
yeah,
all.
completely nude.
Yeah, completely new. We don't see any of like big gashes or anything like
And
we saw when he
just so
had
you
the
know,
firefight
if you're watching or if you're listening, you haven't watched it. When I say completely nude, he has
from the chest.
no,
Yeah,
no, he's
he's got
completely
no. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got no
yeah,
genitals.
he's a Barbie.
Yeah,
He's a Ken doll. So you don't there's nothing because he's not a sex unit. He's not a he's not a sex
yes.
unit.
Which comes up again in this episode. That was the funny part. It was like a
Yep.
very random question during a meeting with the press from Mensa.
Yeah, so Mensa has the whole press come on short notice, and she's kind of explaining what happened there. Because now they're just going outright because they want the sec unit back. And they're
Mhm.
doing pretty much anything they can to get him back because they don't see him obviously as a robot. He is part of their crew.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was one of the things that Penn Lee during that meeting with the corporation had brought up. Is like, we want to buy the contract. We want to buy this. Like, oh, we'll give you a better one. No, 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 no. We want this one. And
And
she is
half your
going to
company.
work. Yeah.
And half your company.
Mhm. Right. It's like, we're going to
But
offer a new contract. It's going to be part of our family. No, and then we got, yeah, like you said, you can keep going with the Mensa and the press.
yeah. And then during this, they're kind of because he says, "Oh, so these, the sec units went rogue," and they said no, they were given different governors, different modules to attack by a rogue. Uh, what was it called?
The Gray Crest. She
Gray
spills
Crest.
the whole thing. It
Yeah,
was fantastic because, in fact, I made a little audio clip. I didn't get to edit in, but it breaks down the whole season pretty much. And it was like, yeah,
it does.
there was another group. Their sec units went rogue, took them out. There was another Gray Crest showed up trying to get alien artifacts. They were they're the ones that attacked us, and the whole story. She just tells it all to the
Yeah.
press.
And then they said they were murdered by their sec units, and they said
Yeah.
they went rogue, and she said no, they were taken over by a rogue Gray Chris,
Yeah.
whatever it
Because
is.
we see the corporation that Chris works for. They
Later on,
also later on they also
do you
showed up.
notice they were all like in black or really dark, unlike everyone else?
Yeah. Same. They're from the other sector.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, we going back to the whole Garethan when he goes to the um
the
the
computer
server
room.
room, the
Yeah,
computer
server room.
room, and he starts downloading all the stuff. Even his old dealer is like, are you okay? Like, can you handle this?" And you really have to understand, like, Garethan sees everything now. He knows everything that he's done, so he knows what led up to him calling himself Murderbot, and because before he was just nitpicking in there.
Mhm.
Now he's downloaded everything, and it
Well,
takes a toll on him.
well, this is what I was trying to figure out, because he says he's looking for something, and he was searching, and he couldn't find what he wanted until he typed in the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon. So is that where I guess our sec unit was storing all his personal like
No,
hiding it in, or
no,
because once he did
no.
that, everything came in, and he's like, I'm
Well,
getting it all.
no, he was trying to figure what would they have named it as? How would it found? So then he searched the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon, and once he did that, he was able to pinpoint like
Oh, who it
what
was,
we
and then
just
that's right, and
recently
then it showed the
downloaded,
SecUnit.
and then it was like that's him right there.
That's it. Okay, all right, that's right,
So
that's right. Forgot about that because then he went. Then he pinpointed our SecUnit, and it's like that's the one, and then he just started
yeah,
downloading everything into
so
his augments.
yeah, so going back to what we had talked about throughout this whole series, like everything is done for a reason. Even going back to Mobland, right? Like everything is for a reason. Sanctuary Moon, who we kind of thought was there for the comic relief, it was there because he was so obsessed with this that at the end, that is how Garethan found his consciousness by searching the rise and fall of Sanctuary Moon.
Even the
And then
plan from last episode. That was all a plan from an episode from Sanctuary Moon. Remember, that was the whole thing that the guy called him out. I was like, wait a minute, you're just quoting Sanctuary Moon, all of this. And that's it.
and
So,
Rita says the crappy show.
yeah,
He
exactly.
gets all offended by it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Like,
I still
like
have
she
that
just
audio.
offended his favorite sports team.
Yeah, but that's how he was able to plan things out because he's just a
Yeah.
security unit. You tell him what to do and he does it. He couldn't have planned all that out
He
if it
still
wasn't
has,
for that.
but he still has all that in him. Throughout that whole thing, he always had that his job is still to protect them.
Mhm.
And he continued to do it. Even as his governor, he hacked his module and everything. But yeah, so Garethan, and I think his story arc or his character arc is by far the best in my opinion.
He's done a 180 halfway
Yeah.
through from licking or smelling the couch or whatever it was for Mensa to this. We see him completely different.
That was a little disgusting. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
it's very random to see that, and just the way he was introduced to us at the beginning,
Yeah.
And to where he is now, we definitely see him completely different.
Yeah, and he sees the SecUnit as something completely different. And if anyone's wondering, that was my dog whining at the door. Then my daughter came in because she probably didn't realize we were recording.
It's all right. It's all right. I told my kids too. I was like, hey, because but
My kids were still sleeping.
oh,
They were.
nice.
We're recording early if anyone's wondering. Usually we do this late.
Yeah, that is true. We're doing it. You can see the light wheel. We both have a lot of light.
Yeah, that's why you can see actually what's in my room.
Let's see, what was it? Oh, so this is where we get to the melting, right? Because everything was right at this point, because that's where we see SecUnits in the melting area. That's what we had just talked about. But then Pin Lee runs in and says, "Nope, got a court order. Stop this." They went through.
I almost thought, because they were showing only his upper torso, I thought that when they stop it, he's like looking around. I had a feeling like he was going to be like his feet were already in it. Well, because they can just
make another one. Yeah.
So I kind of thought that's what they were going to do. But I will say this, I guess we'll talk about it at the end. I guess it doesn't matter the unit, or I guess it does matter the unit, because even though they did all that stuff, he still had those those flashbacks. So it's still in him. So if they just plopped it into another unit, I don't think it'd be the same.
Well, I thought we were going to get to what we see for the show's art cover with the detachable head. I'm still going back on that. That has not happened here.
Yeah, there was nothing at all.
Yeah, and I thought this would have been the perfect time. Maybe he's already dipping through and he's melting apart, and then she says stop, and it was like the only thing they have left is the head, and so they detach that and they put that on another body.
Well, and we discussed that because of the whole last episode where he had the decapitated head. So, but didn't happen.
Didn't happen. Oh man, but this is it.
Yeah, so they got the injunction because clearly their threats are working to take over this whole
I'm still surprised the corporation put up such a fight just to buy an old model? Like, even after they found out, they said, well, we wiped the memory. And it's like, well, whatever. We still want this thing. Then what are they going to use it for? Look, it just got beat up, by the protesters, which is why I think they sent it to get melted down.
I think what you're looking at is, if you were talking to board members, they would say, we're not doing that. When you get a lawyer involved, that's just give it to them.
Yeah.
Give it to them and let them go away. That's all they're asking for. We're going to give them a little bit because they can do a lot worse. That's kind of how I assume like Hasbro works with Chris Cox. That is his name. And he kind of seems like he is too. Anyway, but Garethan shows up there. They have the SecUnit, and
the crew.
He's sick. Yeah, he's totally sick because of all of this. It's so much information, and I think again, it's not just the information, but also what he saw happened, including what I think so.
Yeah, I thought maybe it was just an overload because remember that was even what the dealer was saying. It was like, can you even store all this? Like, how much data are you consuming right now? He doesn't know, but he's getting a lot. And I wasn't sure,
like
maybe
that was some
migraine. If someone gets a migraine, it's like, oh. And
I think that was some of it, but I also think that it was a lot of what was being processed that he could see that happened.
Oh man, I wish. Well, if we get season 2, which I think we will, but
I think we will.
At least we would get the answer to the whole mining question, because that was the flashbacks that we were seeing from SecUnit. Was he the one that mowed down all the miners? Well, I think now Garethan will know, right? Maybe he can see the missing parts.
And I want to say something quickly. I just happened to look over at IMDb, and when we were trying to figure out, you're like, they're not really doctors; they're technicians. The one guy is referred to as a technician.
Nice.
Just having to look over.
It's on Jeopardy. What is technician jabroni? That is correct. That is correct.
But then they download all the information back into him, and even he seems a little like shocked once it's all done. He's a little confused. He's pretty much being woken up and said, "Hey, here's all your memories." And the first thing that he notices is that he's missing specific episodes.
Oh, well, the episode, that's right. I wrote, yeah.
Yeah, he's missing specific episodes of Sanctuary Moon.
And they're like, yeah, he's back. And I would be concerned at that point, because I'm like, man, how are you missing the episodes? I thought you downloaded everything. So there could be other stuff missing. And what if it's also some memories of the crew? So he had someone's like, let's say, oh, Pin Lee. And who are you? I'm Mensa. Don't know you, but I know Pin Lee. It's just sporadic.
He also had to delete certain episodes. If you remember back, he had to delete certain entertainment episodes because
to make space.
So then maybe he did it and he just didn't remember at the time.
Stop blaming it on Gareth.
Or maybe this was him trying to make a joke or something.
That's true.
So, but they basically said, we bought your contract. You're free. You're no longer our and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah. They're like,
it's still in him.
Yeah, because he's coming back with them to preservation. And it was like, you don't need your armor. Well, what I'm going to be your guard? No guard. You're free. You do it. Like you said, you do whatever you want. And no, where my armor? No armor. No, nothing. No.
Yep. And, they have, they do a toast. And then next thing we know, they're all sleeping and he walks up to them and he's just looking at them.
And murders them. And then a big splash. Murderbot.
He mows them all down.
And I'm like,
you said it before I didn't say it. I was going to say,
you were going to say it?
Down. I was literally about to say it. He said he no, he does not murder them. He doesn't mow them down. I will say this. That's my dog, if anyone is wondering. He's being super loud right now. Looking at this whole season, my gosh, so glad he came in my room. Good Lord, he's so loud right now.
Hey, I'm sure people watching have animals. They understand.
But they can't see him. Normally he'd be behind me because
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
beanbag would be over there. It's not behind me right now.
Mm.
But you really do get a like they all change their tune towards him. Even though like some of them, like Rothy like wanted to be best friends with them, they all changed how they felt. The ones that were negative against them, and obviously the ones that did care for him cared for him even more because he saved their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
He
he
was
looks at him and then he kind of goes through and this is where you start to hear him talk to himself. And he wants to leave, and that's when Garethan comes up to him. And Garethan knows what he's gonna do.
yeah, yeah. He was like, "Where are you going?" He was like, "I gotta check the perimeter." And he was like, "No, no. I mean, yeah, this is different. These people are weird." He calls them that. He was like, "But they're good people. They're all
Yeah.
good people. This is going to be great. You're going to have a new life and all this stuff." And he still says, I have to check the perimeter." And at that point, Garethan gets it. He's like, "All
And
right,
this is and I think this is the story arc of Garethan. Like he was threatened by him at first, then just didn't like him, then saw things that he did,
mhm,
but then finally saw what Mensa saw in him.
yeah, yeah,
And you figure they would have the closest connection. Not only because he downloaded everything, but he understands downloading this information and stuff.
yeah." He definitely sees who he really is, if we want to say that about SecUnit, like,
Yeah.
and how he sees them and stuff. So
But he lets him leave because
he
he
lets
listens
him
to
leave.
him long enough. He says, I have to check the perimeter. And then he walks out, and then you start hearing through his mind what he's planning on doing. That he was able to hack into the system.
For the maps, yeah.
Yeah, and then he pinged it, let him know that there's someone coming on board to do. No, he was still a sect unit, but I forget what the unit he was.
Oh
Some
man, was
sort of
it
unit.
a utility or something like that? I think it
Yeah,
was utility bot that he said, and that he needed to go to the mining colonies for
yeah.
some mining outposts. And he said, and this was the other interesting part, because he doesn't show it, but he mentioned sharing the content with them within the system. Like, what? So
Yes,
is he like dumping some sanctuary moon like,
that's
back?
my guess.
It's like, oh, what's this? But
He's the Golden Girls.
and he says this one, and I have a clip here. Hear this.
I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want anyone to tell me what I want.
And that is a very human thing to say.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was perfect, because that's how it is, right? You grow up, you want to find your own way in life, and this was his reawakening. This is rebirth. And while they're telling him, "Yeah, you'll be free if you with us over at our location, our family, everything's gonna be great," but
they were also telling him things he can do, and like he didn't want. All the guy wants to do is watch TV.
that was the other kicker with all of this, because we're seeing a more serious side to him with this. Because if that's the case, then he could lay down in his bunk and just watch TV,
But he wants to be
right?
away from everyone.
But he wants to be away. They go to
He's-
the park, and look at the
he's
sky. And
yeah, he's an introvert that just wants to watch the TV alone. He doesn't want
Mhm.
anyone to bother him. But yeah, it's very interesting. And then we see Mensa. She wakes up and she just knows. Like she's watching his ship leave. We presume that it's the ship, but
Yeah,
she's just watching a ship leave, and it could be any
it
ship.
could be, but she gets it. It's just a
Yeah,
symbolism. It was like, yeah, he's leaving. He left, and what's she gonna do? She can't go after him. He's free.
yeah.
That's what she said. He's free. So it can't be like, oh, our second unit that we freed has left. Bring him back. And I was like, oh, that makes no sense.
Well, they did purchase the contract, so
Yeah. Well, there you go. They
technically
can use
it's
that again.
good.
Technically, we still own. You said I was free.
If
Free to hang out with us.
if you remember, that's how in the original Lilo and Stitch movie, how they were able to keep Stitch because Lilo purchased his contract and that she owns him. And that's why they couldn't take you know, 626.
Shout out to Lawrence tying in Leo and Stitch with Murderbot. You heard it here first, people. Give that like,
Well,
give that subscribe. Where else are you going to hear this?
that's what
Nowhere.
that's what Stitch
Nowhere.
was supposed to be. He was supposed to be a killing machine. Experiment 626.
626. Look at that. It's like fresh on the top of your frontal lobe.
Well, my daughter
I
likes
have all this info. Fantastic.
So and you know, he says at the end that they're my favorite humans.
My favorite humans. Oh,
And I think, you know,
and
there's
he
a
has
couple
one last line. He has one last line. Here we go.
Murderbot, end message.
So, do you think he calls himself Murderbot on his new journey, his new location of mining? Hey, what's your name, Murderbot? Is that how you start your conversation? Is that how you introduce yourself?
I was hoping that they were going to ask him or say, "Hey, what do you think of these names?" And they never did. They just said, "Well, you're just unit now, right? Because you're not a sect unit," which was
Well, that's
which
what he
I-
called himself. They didn't even say that. He said, he was like, if I'm not the sec part, then I guess I'm just a unit.
which is ironic because he doesn't have a unit. So,
Oh, but don't.
but no, I like the way that it ended. It tied up where if they don't bring it back for another season,
Mm-hmm.
you're happy. Like they wrapped up all the loose ends.
Yeah.
But they also wrapped it up or let it be where maybe he goes on to a different adventure. Maybe he comes back to these people in season 3, or he can come back to them next season. You know, who knows? Because he's not the name Murderbot, in my opinion, and we've talked about this, it throws people off.
Oh, it does.
He's not a murder bot. He's not out murdering. Like I assumed when you first asked me about this and it was Murderbot, I assumed that it was going to be along the lines of iRobot, how they really thought like Sonny was this robot that murdered people, which he wasn't, right? And it had nothing to do with it. He called himself Murderbot, and he even says the reason, and I forget, one of the episodes he says it's not the reason why I call myself Murderbot. It was from a TV show, I believe.
Yeah, it was something else. Yeah, it was some one of the content that he had. It was it that he did anything, and then no one called him that. It's like, because at first I was thinking that too, that when we would see all those flashbacks of him mowing down, or he is a refurb, so maybe it was from the previous one, but just mowing down the miners, that someone was going to scream out, "What's going on? It's a murder bot!" You know, and that is what stuck in his head.
And that's another thing is, since he's refurbished, were those still memories of another robot, another bot that they inserted? But they also kind of make it look like they don't do that. They don't transfer the consciousness into
They just wipe them. They just wipe them. So it must have been him, but then that brings up a whole bunch of other questions that would require a second season, and hopefully they bring that up. But then that also brings up a question that you just brought up that I wasn't even thinking about. It's like, what if this is how it works, that every season is a different adventure, and that's it for the crew? That's it with Mensa. We don't see them anymore, and now he's going to make new friends, and he's going to have a new name or a new job, whatever he decides to do.
Yeah, and then they come back, maybe like I said, season 3, season 4, where he has to come back searching for them because something is tied. It is a series of books.
Oh,
and you know, if you guys have read the books, let us know. Is that how it is? I mean, that's how Reacher is in many ways.
Oh yeah. Every book, every novel is its own. So that's the same type of deal.
No, I want to say before I wrap it up, one thing I really, really liked in this episode was the him walking through. It wasn't like him walking through some desolate corridors. There's people and stuff. It reminded me of like being on like Disney World and Universal. Like there's all these people that are there. Like they showed that like this is a community living together. Even when Garethan went to his dealer, his ex-dealer, there was someone in the back just kind of walking like you would see in just regular corridors. So I really did enjoy that. I thought they did a really good job.
Yeah, it's like a city. And that's one of the things that he appreciated when he walked out. He was like, wow, I'm just like everyone else. They see me, I could just be an augmented human. It's like they don't, once you take the gear off, the armor, Yeah, he's just
As
like
long as
everyone
he's
else.
not at a male strip club, then he's good.
Oh, then it's different. It's like drop the trowels. Oh no. Oh no. He had a pretty face and upper, but man, whoa. But you know what? That might be family friendly, and then they can move him to a different part of the club.
Family
They're
friendly.
family friendly. It's like I wanted to see someone dance. And I'm like, okay, here we go. Family friendly.
But all
So
in all, I enjoyed the series. And it's
yeah.
short. So like again, like it's it's done now when you guys are watching this. And if you want to sit down for again, probably 4.5 hours, you
Mhm.
can watch the whole thing and be done with it. So if so, there's some thunderstorms out there, go ahead and sit down and watch it. I don't think you're gonna regret it.
Definitely an easy, quick watch, because of the time. And yeah, that's definitely pulled me in that I want to read the books. And I'm not joking. I definitely plan on picking up a Kindle Paperwhite. I had an older one. I want to get a new one. And I was like, this is a perfect reason. I'm not going to jump too far ahead, but maybe just get the second book because I'm
Yeah.
just curious. I brought this up in the last episode, according to Apple, strong numbers when it comes to the views and
Yeah.
online engagement and stuff like that. So that's great. That's usually a good sign that they're going to pick up for a second season. As soon as I find out, I'll put it in the post, let everybody know that we got a green light and that second one. But even when that happens, that's not going to pop up tomorrow.
Nope.
Who knows how long this even took. I don't know how long it was in production. It could have been on average from 1 to 2 years, depending, unless it's Game of Thrones.
And TV is way different than it was before this whole streaming.
Oh,
This
yeah.
whole streaming, how they did TV shows, how everything was set up, how it was. Hey, seasons came out. How people go like 2 or 3 years between a season, and you don't even realize it. So,
like Severance, though. Severance. I know you didn't have Apple and you didn't watch it, but
I
that
never
was like
watched.
3 years or something like that. But from the first season to this one, they had all kinds of issues and production changes. Writers were swapping in and out. But still, that's a long time. But we did go through that from our time period with Lost. Remember Lost? Lost had that because of the writer's strike. There was the writer's strike, and then a lot of the cast members had other projects that they were working on. So even when they would air an episode, it would be like a few weeks before the next one. I was like, why? It's like, well, because they literally have not filmed the next episode because people are doing other projects, and it screwed things up.
It's
So
kind of crazy.
kind of
But-
crazy. But yep, there you go, everyone. Thanks again for sticking with us for this entire season. Like I mentioned, we're covering some other shows on this channel. We got Dexter, and we got another Jason Momoa one that's coming up. That should be fun to see. And yeah, please, if you can, like, subscribe, tell your buddies, and we'll talk to you guys in the comments. So thanks again. All right, have a good week. Yep.
See you on the next episode or next show.
See you in the next show. All right, later.